Hey there guys, James Wilson here, and welcome once again to Herdix Reviews. It feels like such a long time since I last made a video here on the channel, and I do apologise that it has taken me so long to get this video made, but today I'm going to be continuing my Doctor Who character reviews with a character in Doctor Who that I believe has truly moved beyond your typical Doctor Who villain. I think that the Doctor has a relationship with this character that is unlike anything I have seen in the show. Today I'm going to be talking about the creator of all Daleks, the man that looks like he has been in the bath for far, far too long. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, time for me to review the character of Davros. Now, it is most likely common knowledge to fans that we were first introduced to Davros back in 1975 with the Daleks' origin story, Genesis of the Daleks. And if any of you haven't seen that story yet, then what are you doing with your lives? Seriously, go and watch Genesis of the Daleks right now. I genuinely mean it. I mean, just skip school, skip work, whatever you're doing. You know, even if you're dying in bed right now, just go and watch Genesis of the Daleks, because you will die a happy person having watched Genesis of the Daleks, and I am not sugarcoating that, because it is seriously a great story. It specifically says on the DVD cover, it says the #1 greatest classic story ever, and that is a bold statement, but if you've seen Genesis of the Daleks, then you know I'm telling the truth. And the funny thing is, I only just recently bought Genesis of the Daleks at back in November at the Doctor Who festival, and a lot of people were shocked and surprised that I hadn't already bought the DVD. That is how great this story is. It's became a must-have for any Doctor Who fan. If you're a fan of the classic, a fan of the classic show, then you've got to have Genesis of the Daleks. So I do feel a little bit of shame that I didn't already have this story. But yeah, Genesis of the Daleks was when we very first met the Davros, the creator of the Daleks, the mad scientist behind the Daleks' greatest enemy. Now, of course, Davros is from Skaro, and his people, the Kaleds, take a wild guess as to what Kaleds is backwards. They are in a 1,000-year war between their enemies, the Thals, and over the centuries, the Kaleds begin to mutate into these horrible creatures, and so Davros, being the scientist to his people, then entraps his race in a metal casing, ridding them of any and all emotion, and their only motive in life is to survive. And so the Daleks are created, and this is when the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane and Harry then arrive on Skaro after the Time Lords have asked the Doctor to rid the universe of the Daleks, as the universe cannot go on with the Daleks existing. I think it's believed that the Time Lords had foreseen the Time War that we would then eventually get in the modern era. And there's a reason why this story is so highly regarded, because it is a perfect example of who the Doctor is, in a way, because the Doctor has fought the Daleks so many times. He knows what the Daleks are going to become. He knows at this point what the Daleks are going to go on and ravage the universe, and so even then he can't do it. Even with the knowledge of what the Daleks are going to do in the future, he just can't put those two wires together. And it is an iconic scene that Tom Baker acted out there. Absolutely brilliant acting from Tom Baker, and just Davros is just an absolutely iconic villain, really, and he's almost Bond villain worthy, you know, because in a way, because the Doctor and Davros, they don't, as Stephen Moffat has said, he has said this rather brilliantly, I must admit, that the Doctor and Davros don't go head-to-head in a way that the Doctor does with other villains. Other villains would kill the Doctor, other villains would just straight up explode things and, you know, would rather solve things with violence, some of them. But Davros, he solves things with just words, and that's the only thing that the Doctor and Davros have against each other, really, is that they differ in morals, they differ in personality, and it's basically just a personality clash in ways. And so that's what I think makes Davros such an absolutely iconic villain to see on screen. Now, of course, Davros was a child when this war with his people and the Thals still went on, and I think we can all agree that in The Magician's Apprentice, during that opening scene when we saw that child run across the foggy and muddy terrain of Skaro, I think, although we didn't know it was Skaro or we didn't know he was Davros at the time, I think we still had a little inkling of who it was, because, of course, we had a small rumour that that the Doctor was going to be attempting to murder a child Davros, and so I think we still had a certain idea of who it was. It was in the back of our minds, and we were thinking it, but I think when we've heard those words come out of that child's mouth, I think it still had that payoff, in my opinion. And the Doctor was there, being the Doctor that we all know and love, trying to save a child, trying to save a scared child in a war zone, and so the Doctor's there throwing a sonic screwdriver out, and he goes, "I'm trying to make an acoustic corridor." It's, oh God, Peter Capaldi. I mean, every line he spews out is just absolute gold, and so he then that child just says, "My name is Davros," and the Doctor's face. And before the title sequence starts, just, oh my God, just absolutely amazing. I will watch that again and again and again just to see Peter Capaldi's reaction to that. I mean, he is faced with the child version of the creator of his greatest enemy. So, you know, it's a really tough decision, because he has got to leave that child there. You know, he can't take him to a safe place or anything, because chances are it's a fixed point in time. Davros has got to follow that path. Davros has got to... I mean, the amount of things that the Daleks have done to the universe, the Daleks must be a fixed point in time by now. The Doctor's had his chance to stop the Daleks from ever existing. He had his chance, but no, the Daleks have done far too much to the universe for him to just stop doing it now. So Davros and his creations must be a fixed point in time now, surely. Now, you know what I think? I think that the BBC had Julian Bleach dressed as Davros in that chair, had that room built, and had him trapped in there since the end of Journey's End. That's what I think happened, because I've not seen Julian Bleach do anything since then. I mean, I have not seen him in anything, and usually the BBC and ITV usually share actors. I mean, it's true what they say. The BBC does only have like 30, 40, 50 actors, and just like, you know, shares them, you know, because I am seeing the same actors everywhere across BBC and ITV. So I think they just locked Julian Bleach away just to wait for him to play Davros again, and rightfully so. I'm so glad that they didn't get another actor to play Davros, because Julian Bleach played it beautifully in The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar, because I think he played Davros in the best way, because he gave Davros a bit of humanity. I mean, you should have seen the look on my face when I saw the Doctor and Davros laughing together in The Witch's Familiar. There was a sort of respect there between them. There was a sort of history there. And I think that this is... Yes, they're enemies. That is still very much present in the scenes, but it is definitely probably one of the greatest scenes I've seen in Doctor Who, because Davros is, for the first time ever, pouring his heart out to his enemy, you know, and well, I guess you could say that it kind of becomes pointless when we discover that it was all a ploy from Davros to get regeneration energy off the Doctor, and another thing that I really don't see why Stephen Moffat had to make this happen, Davros can actually see. He can actually see through those eyes. He doesn't actually need the blue thing that he's got on his forehead. He really doesn't actually need that. I mean, I just feel like that was really crowbarred into the scene to really make it look like, oh, Doctor, look into my blubbery, crying eyes, and then you shall sympathise with me so that I can then eventually kill you. So I guess that's a very low-handed thing for Davros to do. But the fact that Davros can actually see, I mean, I thought he was just blinded by the years of nuclear fallout on his planet or whatever. That's what I genuinely thought happened. I just found that incredibly pointless. So yeah, but besides that, I think it was a truly great scene between the Twelfth Doctor and Davros. One of the greatest ones I've seen between a Doctor and Davros, definitely. Now for my last point before I conclude on the character of Davros. Davros put mercy into the Daleks, did he, Stephen? Is that what he did? The Daleks knew one word. They knew what mercy was, so the Doctor went back in time and put the idea of mercy, there's always mercy, into Davros's mind. And so he put that into the Daleks. So the Daleks are always going to be merciful, are they? Is that what it's going to be like? You cry hard enough to the Daleks, if you just begged enough, if you begged just hard enough, then the Daleks will give in and they'll be like, fine, we're merciful, we won't kill you, bye. Is that it now? Like, the Daleks are just losing their fear factor all the more. Seriously, like, it is becoming less and less likely that the Daleks will ever be menacing ever again. Now, in conclusion to this character review on Davros, I don't think the Doctor and Davros will ever settle their differences, and rightfully so. One's a hero and one's a mad scientist. Well, I guess you could say the Doctor's also a mad scientist in a way, but the Doctor's a mad scientist in a really cool and really likeable way. Davros is a mad scientist in a really, okay, get him institutionalised sort of way. But Davros and the Doctor, they are always going to be at it with each other. I mean, not in a violent way. They are always going to be arguing. There's always going to be a clash of morality there, and I think that is something very special in Doctor Who. I think that with the rest of the time that everyone's just wanting to kill the Doctor and just wanting to get him out of the way, there is a mutual respect between the both of them. And yes, the arguments will always end bitterly, and it will always end in tears, or it will always end with something blowing up, but at the end of the day, the Doctor and Davros do have a respect for each other, because they have lived through all of this. The Doctor has seen Davros do all of these things with his creations, the Daleks, and I think Davros, behind the Doctor's greatest adversaries, the Daleks, behind them, there is always the creator that the Doctor will always kind of have respect for. Never ever like him, but there will always be a respect there. And so I think that, in a way, is why the Doctor keeps the Daleks around. I hope you enjoyed my character review of Davros. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for some more great content while Doctor Who is off air this 2016. Also comment in the section below what your thoughts are on the character of Davros and how far you think he's came since we first met him all those years ago in the Tom Baker story Genesis of the Daleks. So then guys, I will see you later on in the week where me and Matthew will be concluding our Torchwood Marathon with Miracle Day. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. See you guys then.